Did Buckingham Palace or Prince William set a trap for Prince Harry and Meghan Markle, and were they gullible enough to fall into it?
King Charles just did the unthinkable. The one thing nobody believed a father could ever do to his own son. He allegedly removed Prince Harry from his will. Not partially, not symbolically, completely. And the way Harry found out? Not from a phone call, not from a private letter, not from his father's voice breaking the news gently. He reportedly learned about it the same way the rest of the world did, from a headline. This isn't just another royal rift story. This is a father legally erasing his son from the family's future. And once you hear what sources are saying about why it happened, you'll understand why this might be the most devastating moment in modern royal history. Subscribe, hit the bell, and like this video because what I'm about to tell you changes everything we thought we knew about the Windsor family.
Harry has finally had his HRH title stripped from the royal family website.
Of course, they were getting it from every which direction when, Meghan and Harry were off on their gallivanting, we want privacy.
Let's start with what we actually know. According to multiple palace sources speaking to trusted royal correspondents, King Charles has undertaken a significant restructuring of his private estate and personal will. These changes, reportedly finalized in late February 2026, include what insiders are describing as the complete removal of the Duke of Sussex from succession of personal assets.
That way, Meghan Markle will no longer be the Duchess of Sussex, a place she is unlikely to visit, as by all accounts she has refused to set foot in the UK ever again.
Now, let's be clear about what this means and what it doesn't mean. Harry remains sixth in line to the throne. That's constitutional. Charles can't change that even if he wanted to. But what Charles absolutely can control is his personal wealth, his private property, and most devastatingly, the personal items that carry emotional significance far beyond their monetary value. And according to sources, all of it is now going elsewhere. The financial implications alone are staggering. King Charles's personal fortune is estimated at over £600 million. This includes the Duchy of Lancaster income, personal investments, art collections, and properties that exist outside the Crown estate. Harry was reportedly in line to inherit a significant portion of this wealth, potentially tens of millions of pounds. That expectation is now allegedly gone. But here's where it gets truly heartbreaking, because this isn't really about money. The Sussexes have their Netflix deals, their book advances, their speaking fees. They're not going to starve. What makes this decision so devastating is what else was reportedly removed from Harry's inheritance. Diana's jewelry. According to palace insiders, Princess Diana's personal jewelry collection, the pieces that weren't already distributed to William and Harry after her death, was being held in trust with the understanding that both sons would eventually pass pieces to their children. Tiaras, necklaces, earrings, bracelets, items that Diana wore, items that carry her memory, items that were supposed to connect future generations to the grandmother they'll never meet. Sources claim that under the revised will, the entirety of Diana's remaining collection will now pass to Prince William's family, specifically designated for Princess Charlotte and Prince Louis, with nothing allocated for Archie and Lilibet. Let that sink in for a moment. Harry's children may never wear their grandmother's jewelry. They may never hold something that Diana held. That connection, that tangible link to her memory, has allegedly been severed by their own grandfather. And the reason Charles reportedly gave to advisors? According to sources, he said, "They chose to leave. They chose to profit from attacking us. They can live with the consequences of those choices." Those words, if accurate, reveal a depth of hurt and anger that Charles has never shown publicly. This isn't the diplomatic king who speaks in careful platitudes. This is a father who feels betrayed beyond repair.
Meghan Markle are set to be left out in the cold, lots of people are saying. And basically because they are no longer working royals. That's the main sort of reason then.
But how did we get here? What pushed Charles to take such a drastic and seemingly permanent step? According to palace insiders, this decision didn't happen overnight. It was the culmination of years of pain, disappointment, and what sources describe as relentless attacks that eventually broke something in Charles that couldn't be fixed. The timeline of destruction is well documented. First came the Oprah interview in March 2021, where Harry and Meghan made explosive allegations about racism within the royal family. Charles was reportedly devastated, not just by the accusations themselves, but by the fact that his son chose to air family grievances on global television rather than addressing them privately. Then came Harry's memoir, Spare, in January 2023. The book painted Charles as a cold, distant father who was jealous of Diana's popularity and incapable of showing physical affection. Harry revealed private conversations, personal moments, and family secrets that Charles considered sacred. Sources say the king felt publicly humiliated by his own son. The Netflix documentaries added fuel to the fire. Hours of footage showing the Sussexes criticizing royal life, questioning the institution's relevance, and positioning themselves as victims of a cruel system that Charles has dedicated his life to serving and modernizing. But according to sources, there was one specific moment that pushed Charles over the edge. One comment that allegedly made him pick up the phone and call his lawyers. It happened during a podcast interview Harry gave in late 2025. When asked about his relationship with his father, Harry reportedly said, "I've accepted that I'll never have the father I needed. Some people just aren't capable of love. That's not their fault, but it's not my burden to carry anymore." Not capable of love. His own son said that about him, publicly, to millions of listeners. Sources close to Charles say he listened to that clip 3 times. Then he sat in silence for nearly an hour. And then, he made the call that would change everything. It was like watching something break inside him, one palace aide allegedly told reporters. He'd absorbed so much, defended Harry privately even when others wanted to cut him off completely. But that comment, calling him incapable of love, that was the moment he stopped fighting for the relationship. Within weeks, lawyers were drafting new documents. Financial advisors were restructuring accounts, and the will that had been carefully crafted to provide for both sons equally was being rewritten from scratch. But here's what makes this situation even more tragic. According to multiple sources, Charles didn't want to do this. Even after everything, even after the interviews and the books and the documentaries, part of him was still hoping for reconciliation, still leaving the door open, still believing that somehow his youngest son would find his way back. That hope reportedly died in late 2025. And what replaced it wasn't anger. It was something worse. It was acceptance. Acceptance that the son he raised, the boy he taught to fish and ride horses and navigate the impossible pressures of royal life, was gone, replaced by someone he no longer recognized. The king didn't remove Harry from his will out of spite, one source close to the situation allegedly explained. He did it because he finally accepted that the Harry he knew doesn't exist anymore, and he couldn't keep pretending otherwise. The news of the will change apparently reached Harry in the worst possible way. According to sources, he found out when a reporter called his team for comment on a story that was about to break. No advance warning from the palace. No courtesy call from his father. Just a journalist asking for a response to information that would reshape his children's financial future. Sources close to Harry describe his reaction as complete shock, followed by rage. He allegedly tried to call his father directly, but was told the king was unavailable. He then reportedly tried William, who allegedly declined the call. Finally, he attempted to reach Queen Camilla, hoping she might intercede. According to sources, her response was brief and devastating. This was his decision to make. I support my husband. Meghan's reaction, according to insiders, was different. Where Harry was reportedly emotional and desperate to understand, Meghan allegedly became strategic. Sources claim she immediately began consulting with lawyers about whether the will change could be legally challenged, whether there was any claim the children could make, whether public pressure might force Charles to reconsider. But palace sources say there's no legal avenue here. Charles's personal assets are his to distribute as he chooses, and he has apparently chosen to distribute them to the family members who remained loyal. The implications for Archie and Lilibet are profound. They still hold their royal titles. They're still technically in the line of succession, but they have now allegedly been cut off from the personal inheritance that would have connected them to their royal heritage in tangible ways. No jewelry from their grandmother Diana, no heirlooms passed down through generations, no financial cushion from their grandfather's personal wealth. The message couldn't be clearer. You may have the titles, but you are no longer part of this family in the ways that matter most. And perhaps most painfully, sources say the revised will includes a specific clause that allegedly states any reconciliation between Harry and the family shall not alter the distributions herein designated. In other words, even if Harry somehow repairs his relationship with his father tomorrow, the will stands. The decision is final. That clause, if it exists, reveals something important about Charles's state of mind. He's not just making a statement. He's protecting that statement from his own potential weakness. He's ensuring that even if he softens, even if he forgives, the consequences of Harry's choices remain permanent. It's both incredibly sad and strangely understandable. Charles has been hurt so many times, has hoped so many times, has been disappointed so many times. This clause allegedly ensures he can't be hurt by hope again. Prince William's role in all of this remains somewhat unclear. Sources offer conflicting accounts. Some say William actively encouraged his father to make this change, arguing that Harry had forfeited his place in the family through his actions. Others say William remained neutral, neither advocating for the change nor opposing it, simply accepting whatever his father decided. What does seem clear is that William hasn't intervened on Harry's behalf. He hasn't urged his father to reconsider. He hasn't attempted to build a bridge that might preserve some portion of Harry's inheritance for his niece and nephew. That silence speaks volumes. Whatever brotherly bond once existed between William and Harry appears to have been completely severed. They're not just estranged, they're apparently operating as though the other doesn't exist. And through all of this, where is Charles emotionally? According to those who see him regularly, he's not triumphant. He's not satisfied. He's grieving. People think this was revenge, one source allegedly said. It wasn't. It was self-preservation. The king had to stop letting Harry hurt him, and the only way to do that was to accept that Harry is gone and restructure his life accordingly, including his will. That framing positions Charles not as a cruel father punishing a wayward son, but as a wounded man protecting himself from further pain. Whether you accept that framing probably depends on your view of the larger Sussex saga. What's undeniable is that this decision represents a point of no return. Wills can be changed, of course. Clauses can be removed. But the message that's been sent can never be unsent. Harry now knows, with legal certainty, where he stands with his father. Outside. Permanently. And the children, Archie and Lilibet, will grow up knowing that their grandfather made a choice to exclude them. Whether they learn to blame Harry for creating that situation or Charles for implementing it, that knowledge will shape their understanding of family in ways that can't be predicted. This is the legacy of the Sussex split. Not just headlines and interviews and streaming deals, but a family torn apart so completely that a father felt compelled to legally disown his son. That grandchildren may grow up without heirlooms from a grandmother they'll only know through photographs. Some will say Charles was too harsh, that a father's love should be unconditional, that children shouldn't suffer for their parents' choices. Others will say Harry brought this on himself, that actions have consequences, that you can't spend years attacking your family and expect to remain in their will. The truth is probably somewhere in between, in that painful space where everyone is both right and wrong, where love and hurt become so tangled that separation feels like the only way to survive. But wherever you stand on the rights and wrongs, one thing is certain. The relationship between King Charles and Prince Harry has now been reduced to legal documents and press statements. The chance for a quiet reconciliation, a private healing, a family restored behind closed doors. That chance appears to be gone. And Harry has to live with knowing that he pushed his father so far that removing him from the will felt like the only option left. So what happens now? Can this be undone? Will Harry fight back? Or is this truly the end of any hope for the Windsor family to heal? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Like, subscribe, and share this video, because this story is far from over. The fallout is just beginning, and you won't want to miss what comes next.